that is tomorrow. We're now joined by Staff Sergeant Heyenga, Tyler Heyenga. He is part of the Waco recruiting company. He's the station manager, and he joins us on 365 Sports. Paul, Catalina, Craig, and David Smoak. And Staff Sergeant Heyenga, thanks for your time. What does Veterans Day mean to you?
Well, actually, I can tell you a couple ways that it means to me. I have plenty of veterans within my family. My mother-in-law served. My mom actually served. A couple of my grandfathers also served. So Veterans Day is definitely important to me. It really sets the tone because it shows that this is basically the foundation for us that are serving right now. And also for me, a lot of my veteran buddies are the ones that actually brought me up within, the Army, and the military in general, because it made me the person that I am today within the Army and the leader that I am. So I definitely appreciate them.
Tyler, how much did talking to veterans help you in your early days in the Army?
Honestly, it helped me actually grow up because I was able to, learn from them and actually have them show me, all right, well, you need to be able to do it like this, but I'm going to let you fall, and then I'm going to bring you back up and go ahead and teach you how to do it properly. And actually, one of my old supervisors, he actually showed me that it was okay for me to accept me as a leader and not to be scared to take charge of something, within my career.
Staff Sergeant, like you mentioned, people have family ties, and that's what eventually, leads them to the military service or whatever it may be. What exactly was your story? How did your journey get started?
So actually, it didn't get started based off of, me wanting to join or anything or to serve the country. To be honest with you, it was, I was caught in a bind. So, I've always wanted to be a chef. I wanted to go to culinary school. My parents, they didn't really have the money to send me. I wasn't getting very many college scholarships or grants. So, my junior year in high school, I saw a Marine recruiter right across the street. I talked to him for a little bit. Then I went home. I told my mom I'm going to join the Marines. She said, no, you're not. And then she actually had an Army recruiter sitting at the table the next day. I sat down with him. I told him what I wanted. He gave it to me. I joined as a culinary specialist. And then, as I went on, I started to get my certifications as an executive chef. And then once I get out, I'm going to use the GI Bill to open up my own food truck and then possibly open up my own restaurant.
Ooh. That is awesome. Paul and we like to dabble with cooking and whatever else. I watch the Food Network probably more than I need to. And did you also do a lot of that when you were serving in Afghanistan?
Yes, sir. Actually, I did. That's all I did. Actually, every kitchen that I had actually worked in, I had to build from the ground up because, working with special forces and stuff like that, we didn't start out with too much. So I actually had to build my kitchen from the ground up. But, it definitely taught me, to appreciate what I had and, what I was able to work with and the little stuff that I was working with. I mean, in one of my deployments, I actually was working off of a little stove. And then for Thanksgiving, I actually had General Petraeus come out to my fire base. Wow. And I actually had to build a mud oven with bricks. And then I had to cook all my stuff within that oven. And I had a grill to work off of. So I actually had to put the pot on top of there to deep fry the turkey.
Man, that's a high-pressure meal for the head of the Joint Chiefs. That is... I can't imagine a more high-pressure cooking situation.
Absolutely. And it was interesting because, he actually, when we went all to sit down and, I was getting ready to serve the meal and everything, he actually told me, he said, no, I need you to go sit down so that way I can serve you because, you made this great meal and I want to make sure that you understand that, we appreciate what you did for us.
It was Armistice Day, and that changed Veterans Day back in 1954, and that was from the urging of a major U.S. veteran organizations around the country. It just seems like we sometimes forget that there are men, women serving in a lot of different places even now. You don't hear about it as much, but even now with trying to protect our freedom, but also, right, Sergeant, Staff Sergeant, the rights and democracy or the freedom of others.
Yes, sir, definitely. You know, and actually, also, I wanted to touch on, you know, the people that are actually serving for the community as well. You know, my mother-in-law, she's actually in charge of one of the VFWs, you know, in San Diego. And so, you know, she definitely takes care of quite a few veterans, and she's able to have a safe place for them to actually go, you know, to be able to sit down and hang out with each other and, you know, reconnect with each other. And they're able to go over stories and everything. And every time I go back to San Diego, I love, you know, sitting down with them and talking with them and having, having a drink with them and talking to them about their stories and everything else that they had going on.
Guy Kizzy, Captain Kizzy's the one who's the U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company commander. He's the one that suggested you got in touch with me as well. Tell us a little bit, and we've had others who have been in here. Clancy has been in here. Clary, has been in here to discuss the U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company and what you do and what's available right now.
Yes, sir. So actually, I'm the Waco Recruiting Station Commander. So, you know, I have 9 of my guys under me, and then I have over 4,000 square miles that I cover, 39 high schools and 3 colleges. You know, all within, you know, Waco and then outside just a little bit. But, you know, what we try to do is we're trying to do multiple things. So we're trying to reach out to the community. We're trying to make sure that, you know, they understand that we're here for them. Also, when we talk to you about, you know, the jobs and the MOSs that we talk about, it's all different types. We can get you the certifications that you need to be able to do bigger and better things. Like for me, I wanted to be executive chef. I got my executive chef, right? And I didn't have to pay a dime. Where culinary school would cost about, I'd say, $300,000 to $400,000 just to be able to become a master chef and be able to put all the time and effort into it, you know. But also using those certifications on the outside, you know, as far as trades, right? So we have trades, we have, you know, mechanics, we have welders, different things like that. Also, you know, with aviation, we definitely have a lot of aviation around this area. You know, they can come back and do that as well. And they can be part-time, you know, 1 week in a month, 2 weeks out of summertime. It really isn't that difficult. You know, you just got to want it. You got to understand that you have to want something bigger and better. And I was actually watching, you know, what Sergeant Clary had, you know, on his interview. And honestly, he was spot on. There's nothing that you can possibly do better than to get up and out of your small town or your big city and go explore, go out and see the world, because that's how you are actually building your culture. That's how you understand the world is a better place outside and in.
Staff Sergeant, we appreciate you, man, for serving our country on our chat room. Devil Dog talked about how he was a part of the U.S. Marine Corps. We have people see clear saying all veterans appreciate your service in here, including you especially. And others are saying thank you to anybody, U.S. military, for what you do, what you've done, and also what, of course, it means to our country. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
Staff Sergeant Tyler Heyenga, from the Waco Recruiting Company, Station Commander. Kai Kizzy, the captain, is the Waco Recruiting Company's commander. And he, of course, was